Today's lesson is on calculating slope, which is a continuation of what we learned yesterday, where we were able to use a graph and count the rise and run between 2 points on a graph. Well, today we are going to be able to refresh that, and we are also going to talk about how we can find slope when we are just given 2 points and not an actual graph to work with. So remember from yesterday that on a graph, when we always count up or down first to find the slope, and then we count left or right. And then when we are moving up or right, we are always working with positive values, and when we move down or left, we are working with negative values. So if you move up 3, it's positive 3, and if you move left 4, it would be negative 4. So you have to be careful with your positives and negatives, and always remember that if you are looking at a graph, you can take a look at the line and determine whether or not it's a positive or negative slope, and that will give you a clue as to whether or not your number here should be positive or negative. Also remember from yesterday that we have to write our answer as a fraction in simplest form. If you're unsure of how to reduce because maybe your math facts need a little bit of work, remember you can always type the fraction into your calculator and hit enter, and your calculator will reduce the fraction into simplest form for you. So here you have a warm-up. You guys have this page in front of you, and if you haven't flipped to it, please do it now. Your warm-up is to find the slope of these two graphs. If you are the substitute, if you could please pause the video until the students are all finished, and the answers will then play once you click the video to start again. So at this point in time, just click pause for me. Okay, so you probably have all finished this by now, so we're just going to review it and make sure that we can do this together. On the first graph, you can pick any point to start with. I'm going to start with my bottom point, and remember to make that slope triangles, so we come all the way up, and then we go to the right. So we want to count how many spaces we go up. So we're going to count from the bottom point. We're going to come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we went up 7, so that's a positive 7, and I'm getting ready for my slope. And now how many points did I move to the right? 1, 2, 3 points to the right. So my slope is 7 over 3, and that's a fraction that cannot be reduced. Now if you did it the other way, so perhaps you went down first and to the left 3, that is okay too. You will still get the same answer because it will be a negative 7 over negative 3, which reduces to positive 7 over 3, and these answers are obviously the same. So either way you do it, you should still get the same answer. Our next graph, again here, I'm going to start at my bottom point because I like to start from the bottom up. I like to calculate up first for my rise. So I'm drawing my slope triangle, which you should be doing if you didn't do that during your warm-up. And so I'm going to count how many spaces I went up. 1, 2, 3 spaces up. And now I'm moving to the left 1, 2 spaces. So since I was moving to the left, I have a negative 2. And remember, if you're unsure about whether or not this number should be negative or positive, remember here I am on the double diamond ski slope, really nervous because I can't ski on a double diamond ski slope. So I am negative. I'm screaming no for negative. So if I am screaming and I'm going down a hill, that means it's negative. And likewise, on the other side, if I'm down at the bottom, I love to hike, so I love to climb up the mountain, and that would be positive. So what if we're given only 2 points and not an actual graph to look at? Now, of course, you could make your own coordinate grid and plot the points and then calculate the rise over run, but that's going to take a long time. So we need to have another strategy to use before, instead of doing that and spending a lot of time graphing 2 points when we don't need to. So if you recall that the slope is the change in the y values divided by the change in the x values, we also can call it the rise over the run because we talk about going up or down first, and then we talk about moving to the right or to the left. When we're given 2 points, we can call them x1, y1, that's just notation for saying this is the first x and this is the first y, and that this is the second x and the second y. It is not x squared, so no, we do not want x squared. okay? But our formula here is m equals the difference in the y values, so y2 take away y1, divided by x2 take away x1. So here, if we're going to calculate the slope using the formula, well, first we always want to rewrite the formula for ourselves. So we'll have m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what I always tell my students to do first is label your coordinates. So in this first example, 8 is x1 and 10 is y1, negative 7 is x2, and 14 is y2. And now you just substitute into your formula. Well, y2 is 14, take away y1, which is 10, divided by x2 is negative 7, take away 8. And now you just do your subtraction. 14 take away 10 is 4. Negative 7 minus 8 is change this to plus a negative, is a negative 15. And you cannot reduce this, so negative 4 over negative 15 is our final answer for our slope. If we try example 2, again we label x1, y1, x2, y2, and we do the same thing. We're going to substitute. y2 is negative 8, take away y1, which is negative 5. So notice that it's two negatives. I'm not just counting this negative here as the negative in the actual formula. Divided by 0, take away negative 12. My x2 take away my y2. So negative 8 minus negative 5 becomes negative 8 plus 5, which is negative 3. And if you have no idea what I'm doing here, it's the keep, change method. You can use your calculator to do this addition or subtraction. I'm just doing it by hand. So it becomes negative 3 over 12, which can be reduced to negative 1 over 4. And that is our final slope. So you have a worksheet in front of you, front and back. At this point in time, you should be doing the odd numbers on the front and the back, and if you finish that, you may work on the even numbers. However, you need to do as much as you can, and if you don't finish the odd numbers in class, you are doing them for homework. All right, because I will be talking about this tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the afternoon tomorrow.